Task Factory is a suite of SSIS components available from Pragmatic Works. In this video, we're going to look at the Surrogate Key Transformation. Here I've set up an ArrayDB source, pulling from a simple table that has nothing more than a list of bad addresses in it. Here you can see I have 6 rows of addresses that are all bad in some form, and it's just a very simple one-column table. So we'll close this, click OK. Now, my task is to output this information to a file of some type. That file will probably be picked up by another package downstream, and that data will be cleaned up using Task Factory's address parse transform, which I've talked about in another video. Now, one of the requirements that I have is that in the output file, I have to create some sort of unique key for each of those individual rows. Well, how do I do that? Because there is no natural key in that table. It's just nothing more than the bad address column. Now, there's a couple of ways I could do it. Maybe set up a derived column transformation and some variables, maybe using a script task, but there's a far easier way using Task Factory, and that is the Surrogate Key Transform. We're going to take it, we're going to drop it in here on our design surface, and we'll hook it up, and we'll open it up. And the first thing we need to do is create a new name for our output column, and we'll call this Bad Address Surrogate Key. Now we need to select the seed value. What value are we going to start with? Well, we'll hit the drop down, and I can either take that value from a variable or from text, which I input here. So we're going to start with 1. And for the increment, we're again going to input it directly, and we'll increment it by 1. And click OK, and click OK. Now to see the results of our hard work, we're going to simply drop our good old friend, the terminator destination. If you haven't been watching this series of videos, the terminator destination is simply an endpoint for your data flow, and it just takes the data coming in and throws it away. It's great during development because you can easily test part of your package without having to have it completed, but it's also great for these little demos because I can just come in here, right-click, add a data viewer, we'll add it, and we'll just take the default grid and press OK. And then we'll make all this kind of nice and pretty so that everything lines up. And there we go, that's much better. And let's actually go execute this so we can see the output. And there we go. I have my bad address data, and I now have a bad address column called bad address SK, and we have 1 through 6 as our key values. Now, as you saw, I'm not limited to just doing this one at a time. I can come in here, and I can actually change the seed value from 1 to, let's say, 100. Maybe we had a requirement that 100 was the minimum value. And we can actually change the increment as well. Maybe I want to increment it by 10 instead of 1. And we'll click OK. And we'll run this again. And now you can see I start at 100 and increment by 10, 20, 30, and so forth. So there you go. Using the Surrogate Key Transform is a quick and easy way to add a surrogate key column to your output. To find out more about the Surrogate Key Transform or any of the other tools that come with Task Factory, please visit us at pragmaticworks.com.